lovers, and welcome to the Liberty Mike podcast, broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the heart of Dixie. I am Michael, and I am here with Liberty Larry.
How's it going?
Doing fine. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. Had kind of a cold day.
Dude, too cold.
I don't know if it was too cold.
I'm over it, man.
It started like fairly comfortable this morning. It wasn't bad.
Yeah. So I said
I think it got colder during the day.
I said the same thing because when I left this morning, my wife was like, well, her phone said it felt like 27 outside. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cold. Yeah. So I was prepared for that when I went outside. And then it didn't seem that cold to me. Yeah. But then later in the day, I had to unload a bunch of trucks today outside in the cold. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, like it feels like that now.
Yeah. I felt the same way. When I left for work this morning, I was like, okay, it's chilly, but I'm okay like this. You know, sun was out. And then when I got back to the office after lunch in the early afternoon or mid-afternoon, whatever, I guess it was early afternoon. Anyway, just walking from my car to the office, I was like, dude, it is uncomfortable out here. How did this happen? The sun's still out? Like, yeah. Weird. Weather's weird here.
I'll go back to my thing. All I can think, I'm thankful that mosquitoes are dying.
Yeah.
Like that's what this weather tells me.
Yeah, the longer and colder our winter is, the better our summer is.
Exactly. Yeah. So
the more tolerable, I guess, our summer is.
Yeah, hopefully.
At least you're not getting it up.
Yeah.
So. There are probably people listening to this like, it up. I mean, I understand what you're saying. People say that, yes.
Oh, yeah. That's what you hear most of the time.
Yes, they do.
Oh.
What do you want to talk about?
Oh, no. What's going on in the world?
I got approved by my mom that our last episode was not trite.
Oh, it wasn't trite. Yeah. Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. So, you know. We hit topics that mattered, maybe.
Yeah. Well,
I think we're going to keep talking about the same topics, honestly.
Yeah, there's the same topics seem to be top of mind for, I mean, everybody, it seems like. I mean, if social media is any indicator, like it's not much has changed in a week.
Yeah. I had actually pulled a couple of clips and because there was a Kristi Noem clip that I meant to play on the last podcast, or at least talk about what she was saying, that I forgot about.
Yeah.
And I pulled a couple of Kristi Noem clips from the interview she did with Jake Tapper.
Okay. Yeah.
For this episode, but I don't want to play them.
Okay.
I think we can just talk about what she had to say. I pulled the clips because I thought, all right, she's addressing the things that I kind of most want to still, or to continue talking about from this. But they're not really good clips because she just sounds like an idiot. And I know that...
So I heard the clips you were talking about, they played, or I'm assuming I have, because it's the ones they played on No Agenda.
Yeah, at least some of that stuff they played on No Agenda.
She's just not good at media.
No. I mean, which is amazing. This is maybe another topic. When I was listening to the interview with Jake Tapper and how poorly she was responding to the pretty, difficult challenges that he was presenting to her.
He was trying to use some gotcha stuff, but he's not very good.
Yeah, exactly. So he's not very good either. So... It was like two incompetents in an argument.
Exactly. It really was.
But I started thinking, I've been trying to give some of these people the benefit of the doubt, like some of the people that Trump appointed in this administration.
Yeah.
Because there's some choices that he made that I think were really great.
Oh, yeah. Or at least at the time, I thought was really great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still happy with RFKJ. And
RFK is one of the standouts as far as I'm concerned.
I think Tulsi's been sidelined a little bit, which is unfortunate. But I still think that she's doing a fair job at DNI. And she's the one that keeps bringing out, more information about the political or the legal political attacks on Trump and some of that from both Obama and Biden's terms.
Yeah.
And I think that those are things that are important to get out there in the public, even if nothing comes of it, because probably nothing's going to come of it. But at least you're actually giving evidence about how politicians are using the legal system to try and subdue their opponents.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's...
So I'm still happy with Tulsi. I wish she was a little bit more front and center, but at the same time, you know, from Trump, that if she's constantly publicly second guessing him,
she won't stay.
She won't stay, right?
Yeah.
So I'd rather have her quiet but doing what she can behind the scenes.
I think that's fair. I mean, I've been a little more critical of her just because of what you said. You're not hearing a lot out of her. She seems like she's kind of drifted to the back. But you make a good point that if she was, you know, a little more vocal and out there, that she probably wouldn't last. So
yeah,
I think that's fair.
At the same time, though, because of Kristi Noem's clear inability to answer a question.
Yeah.
Questions that should be easy to answer, actually. Yeah. Easy to parry.
Yeah.
And I start thinking, okay, like, you know, he picked her because she's got a good look and she's on his side and so forth.
She was popular as governor.
Sure. The whole dog thing kind of ruined her popularity, but
it hurt.
But yeah, but still, you know, being able to put her out there as the only governor that never had restrictions in COVID and so forth, like that's important for Republicans.
Yeah.
For some Republicans anyway. Yeah. A lot of Trump's base. And then, but I've started second guessing her actual capabilities. And then that made me also start thinking maybe I'm giving Hegseth too much credit too. Like maybe Trump picked some good looking people that were popular and that he thought had some charisma, but really are out of their depth.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the best way I could describe how I felt listening to her, is that she is just out of her depth. She didn't really understand the kind of things that she could. She didn't understand what kind of law enforcement policy she could just cite in response.
Yeah.
And like, know your job.
Yeah, that's literally her job.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of those things though. One is he was pressing her about why did he take 3 shots? And, you know, Tapper's not the only one talking about that.
This comes up a lot.
And it comes up in a lot of shootings. Law enforcement shootings. I think
partly why this one, because I watched the video again yesterday, and I can understand why somebody that hasn't handled firearms and hasn't spent time in law enforcement, which I hadn't spent time in law enforcement, but I know a lot of people in law enforcement, would think that, because when you watch it, like the first shot is straight on, but then the other 2 are into the side of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And so I can understand somebody thinking, well, I mean, she's passing him now, the threat's gone, but that's not.
Yeah, that's not true, first off.
Exactly.
And so.
But like, it does look, I was just go say though, it does look bad in the video if you don't have a thorough understanding like we're fixing the layout.
Yeah. So my father was a law enforcement firearms instructor.
Yeah.
And so we got all these lessons our whole lives, me and my brother.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that we knew too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm one of those.
Yeah. But this is how law enforcement and military are trained. The idea is that when you perceive a threat, what you perceive to be a legitimate threat, and all these things are split-second decisions, first off.
Yeah.
You got to understand that you don't know somebody else's intentions.
Yeah.
You can only work with what you can see and perceive on your own.
Yeah.
When you perceive a threat and you decide that you are going to draw, you only draw your gun with the intention of shooting.
Absolutely.
Even if you hope not. But if you're drawing the gun, you're drawing the gun with the intention of shooting. It's not just a threat. It's with the intention to shoot. And what you're taught to do is you aim for the middle of the largest part of the body that you can see.
Yeah.
And you keep pulling the trigger until the threat is eliminated.
Yeah. I mean, that's the training.
Yeah. And so with her, why did he shoot her 3 times in the face? Well, because he had a windshield and a side window, and the head was the biggest part of the body that he could see. And so he aimed for the middle of it. Yeah. And why did he keep shooting? Because you don't know what she's doing from there. She can easily throw it into reverse to try and run somebody over or whatever. Yeah. So you keep shooting until you are certain that the threat's been eliminated. Yeah. And I'll tell you how hard this was drilled into me.
Yeah.
And so I had a dream a couple of years ago, and so I haven't actually been shot at or any, right? So yeah. I don't have a real life experience, but you do always wonder if you were ever put in that situation in real life, how would you react?
Yeah.
Would you just panic and curl up into a ball, or what would you do?
Yeah, fight or flight is a real thing too.
Oh yeah,
some people are fighters and some people are runners,
yeah.
And you don't know until you're in a situation.
Mm-hmm. So I had this dream, and in the dream I was in my house, and for all intents and purposes, this was real to me.
Yeah.
Like, it felt real. I thought this was all really going on. And so I assumed that this is how I would react
in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard somebody breaking in through my bedroom window. And so I grabbed one of my pistols from the hall closet and came around the corner into my bedroom.
Yeah.
With the gun up in front of me, ready to go.
Yeah.
And there was a guy crawling through my window into my bedroom.
Yeah.
And I fired twice, and he fell back out through the window.
Yeah.
This is all in a dream, remember, people. Yeah. But I fired twice. He falls back out through the window.
Yeah.
And I moved forward with the gun still in ready position. And as soon as I got to a position where I could see, where I had an angle through the window that I could see him on the ground outside, and he was still moving, I started pulling the trigger again.
Yeah.
And as I walked forward, I continued pulling the trigger on that gun until he stopped moving.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you're trained. Mm-hmm. You don't, as long as he's moving, you don't know what he's going to do.
Right.
Whether or not he has a gun or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's already been shot, if he has a gun,
he's going to shoot you too if he gets the chance.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I totally understand. And then one of the things that I had to explain to a friend of ours last weekend, who, when I told him if I was in that situation, I'd have shot too. And I tried to explain to him also, like, I'm from a law enforcement family. I'm often torn on these kind of things.
Yeah.
Because on the one side, I feel like law enforcement always has the upper hand. And so they should be really judicious about when they decide to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, I think if my dad had been in one of those situations, what would I have wanted him to do?
Yeah.
And I would much rather have my father pull the trigger and have been wrong about it than not pull the trigger and be wrong about it.
Yeah. I get it.
'Cause I want him coming home.
Yeah.
And so, but one of the things that I tried to explain to my friend when I told him I would have shot her too, he said, "Well, you're wrong."
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think I am. And as we talked about it, he was like, "Well, it was the wrong decision." I was like, "Oh, okay. So let me tell you how I'm looking at this, because I'm not saying that it was right or that it was correct.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it was justified."
Yeah.
That I understand why he would have pulled the trigger, and I think a lot of people would have pulled that trigger in that situation.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that was the right decision, but what I'm saying is that decision can be supported.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's plenty of evidence of situations where cops have been hit by cars, mm-hmm. or a gun shows up out of nowhere. Like, there's a reason that law enforcement acts the way it does in those type of situations. And I mean, if anything, Because everybody that knows me knows I'm not exactly the biggest supporter of law enforcement.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a big fan of the cops in any way, shape, or form. But where I think, I mean, if we're going to talk about this problem, I think that where we should be focused is getting the right people in the uniform. Because where we stand right now, I don't think that's the case.
Well, and the other side of that is that she certainly plays a part. And I'm not trying to victim blame exactly here. But
You're talking about the person that had been following them around all day, harassing
them and antagonizing them the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sorry, like you don't get to do that.
Yeah, recognize the situation here. They're armed.
Yeah, doing a job. Now, you may not approve of the job they're doing, and we can have a conversation about that because I think that's worth talking about too. But at the end of the day, it's not a smart decision to start following a bunch of cops around and harassing them all day.
Don't give them.
Which, by the way, these aren't cops. This is ICE. But just think here in Baldwin County. I think that makes a
big difference.
I think it does make a big difference. But just think here in Baldwin County, if I just started following sheriffs around and harassing them all day
and getting in their way and trying
where
to
am I going to end up really quick? Like, I won't even get to do that very long before I'm in jail.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky.
Yeah. And you'll probably end up in jail. But if you give them a reason to think that you're a legitimate threat to them.
Yeah.
They're armed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I end up in jail if I'm lucky. Like, the other alternative is dead.
Yeah. So, well, I want to address that in a minute. I do want to, what I wanted to talk about on the last podcast that Kristi Noem kept saying is that this person is a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
Now, I see from the definition that, yeah, it probably fits.
Yeah.
I think that the statutory definition of domestic terrorism, this probably fits. That said, I think that we have way too broad a definition of terrorist.
Well, that's what I was going to say is I'm not one that wants to throw that term around a lot as a person who's not exactly always on the right side of the government.
Yeah.
But
and the term is very loose and broad with purpose because to most of the public, somebody being a terrorist actually does give the government a huge amount of leeway to deal with it as they see fit.
Exactly.
And that's the problem with the term and the way it's applied.
Yeah.
Just remember that probably by definition, people that were going and screaming threats at PTA meetings
fit that bill,
qualify under the definition. Okay. So I don't think that this person was a terrorist realistically, but I think that unfortunately,
given the definition as it currently sits, it fits.
Yeah, and the definition is the problem.
Yeah.
Right. Also, I think that maybe I'm out of line here, but to me, a terrorist, their violence is focused primarily on regular citizens, not employees of the government.
Not the government.
Yeah.
Can see that.
But that's just me. The other thing that, as far as why the shooting being justified and so forth, and maybe the difference between police and federal law enforcement, is, and I should probably qualify federal law enforcement whose primary job isn't law enforcement in the way that like separating out things like FBI that is a broad federal law enforcement agency, not a focused enforcement of a particular type of law like ICE is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Absolutely.
But another one of the things that Tapper was pressing her about was he was playing video of guys during the January 6th stuff that were, groups of guys beating cops with sticks and so forth, and saying, would the cop have been justified shooting in this case? Yeah. And she tiptoed around the topic and so forth. But honestly, the answer is yes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The answer is yes, assuming that those weren't like all like undercover agents or whatnot. Assets of the government in one form or another. Putting that aside, yes, I agree with you.
Yeah. If you're attacking police with a flagpole, it's essentially like attacking them with a spear. If you've got a bunch of guys with sticks, that is a legitimate threat to the officer's life. I think that they would have been justified shooting. Yeah. Now, the ironic thing about that is that the one person that was shot by police, I don't think was a justified shooting.
Was unjustified, yeah, exactly.
But that's where I kind of wanted to draw the line between regular law enforcement and
ICE
organizations like ICE.
Yeah.
Is that I think that regular law enforcement gets a lot more training about being more judicious about when they pull the trigger and trying to de-escalate situations instead of escalating situations.
They're more likely to be in those type of situations.
Mm-hmm. And they get more training focused specifically on dealing with the public.
Yeah, exactly. Which, if more shots had been taken during January 6th, I don't think it would have escalated to the point that it did. Not saying everybody there deserved to be shot at, but there were definitely segments that rose to that level.
Yeah.
Which I go back to my assets thing. I think that those were the people that were probably, associated with the government in one form or another.
Mm-hmm. Well, it could be, but I
mean, there's no way
that
know.
for the
there's
purposes
no way
of
to
this
know.
discussion. Yeah.
I'm just drilling a point home, I feel like.
Yes, you are. I think that the difference there is that you can look at the situations that have involved ICE and compare them like to the situations that have involved the ATF as an example in the past.
Yeah.
That these very narrowly focused enforcement agencies at the federal level tend to escalate situations more frequently than they de-escalate situations.
Yes, that has been proven time and again.
And I think that that part of it is that at Metro PD or county police or whatever, sheriffs and what have you, they see some real consequences potentially of getting involved in a shooting and it being found to not be justified. And I think that they are more judicious in those decisions that they make, whereas those very narrowly focused federal law enforcement agencies feel like they're a little better protected.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah, very much so.
Now, another thing that's been going on, and I don't know if you've seen this. I feel like it's more likely that you've seen this than I would have, but somebody at my office forwarded it to me.
Yeah.
There's I guess it's an AI summary that's making the rounds about that Walz signed legislation in 2022 that specifically justifies this shooting, saying that if somebody accelerates a vehicle towards a police officer, that they're justified in seeing it as a threat to their life and using deadly force.
I have not seen this.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. He said it was making the rounds. I'm not really online, so in that way, so I don't know. But he forwarded it to me, and it identified a state statute.
Okay.
So I pulled up the state statute.
Yeah.
And read it. There's only a page and a half or something like that.
Pretty easy.
And it was trying to identify situations where they justified the use of deadly force by law enforcement. So all of that part of it is true.
Checks out.
Mm-hmm. It did not say anything about using a vehicle as a weapon and that being justification to shooting. Now, the information within the statute, I think, does justify the shooting, like how they define the threats and so forth.
Yeah.
But the AI summary that he forwarded to me makes it sound like it specifically identified this as a justification to use lethal force, and it does not.
Wow.
Absolutely does not. There's a part of it that I think could maybe be interpreted that way if the AI, because the AI is just like putting words together. It doesn't really understand any of it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's actually on the other side. It's kind of the opposite of what the AI said, that it was talking about firing, the dangers of an officer firing into a moving vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not that a moving vehicle towards them justified them firing. It was...
Yeah.
But I can see where an AI might see those words connected and
make a connection.
Yeah.
That's not correct.
And just for the record, I did read the other statutes that were linked within that statute, and none of them say anything about accelerating vehicle justifying the use of lethal force either.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those people that has gotten this and is like, oh, even Walt signed the legislation. He signed legislation that I think justifies the shooting, but not as explicitly as that AI thing says.
Not as verbatim as it appears.
Yeah. Do we want to talk any more about the shooting at this point?
I don't know. I don't remember what else we had on tap, but I mean, I did want to talk a little bit about why ICE is there in the first place.
Okay.
Because to me, this is an interesting question, one that I struggle with a little bit, because I'm definitely a closed border libertarian. I think that I have no problem shutting down the border and controlling it. And I don't have a whole lot of problem sending folks back that are here illegally. You came into this country illegally, we have the right to send you back. It's a little stickier, though, when you have sanctuary cities and these type of things where we're actually having to send ICE in because local law enforcement won't turn them in. Mm-hmm. And I have a little more of a problem with that, because kind of going to some of our principles about, local government and whatnot. I mean, whether we like it or not, those governments decided that they're okay with illegals being in their jurisdiction.
Yeah. And if the people keep voting them back in, then that kind of confirms the decision.
Exactly.
That the people want this.
That the people want that. And this is your federal government sending in law enforcement in there to enforce a law that the local government or the local people, best we can tell, don't agree with. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's just kind of...
So it would be like... federal law enforcement going in and busting marijuana dispensaries in states where it's been legalized.
Exactly. That's a good parallel, actually. Yeah. And so, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not against ICE per se. Just, I don't think that we should be sending them into places where they're not wanted, like this. That's just kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, it creates conflict. If the goal is to avoid conflict, then this is counterproductive.
And I think that the best way to handle sending people back is not to so much be going and looking for them the way ICE does, like knocking in doors and that type of thing. Just as they come into contact with law enforcement, pick them up then.
Yeah.
So that way, if you're here illegally, you at least behave. Because if you get approached by an officer, you're going back. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good just policy to have with it. I don't think we need to be looking for these people. Let them, come into contact with law enforcement themselves.
Yeah. Well, and the drugs thing is a good example anyway, because one of the big issues that we as libertarians have with the drug laws in this country is that it encourages proactive policing, them going out and looking for crimes that don't have any victims.
Yeah, exactly.
Like just someone being here illegally in the country, you can make a case that they're a victim, like all the taxpayers are victims and so forth. But realistically, no harm's being done. And the answer to that problem, from my perspective, isn't to get rid of all people that are immigrants that didn't come in the proper way. It's to get rid of the welfare.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I would definitely agree with that.
And I want to come back to that point too, but that one of the problems that we're running into here is that this is another situation where you're encouraging proactive policing and stop and check your papers. And if you look like you might be from somewhere else or you don't speak English well or whatever the problem is, like you could be perfectly legitimate, but it encourages harassment from police.
Exactly. Which I was never a fan of.
Yeah. And actually on that point about taking advantage of the taxpayer, I do want to go back to this fraud issue with the government monies that were pumped into childcare and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And healthcare and whatever else. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, and I came up with like a little aphorism that I think is or slogan maybe, catchphrase, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it. Yeah, absolutely. It is that benefits become businesses.
Yeah.
When the government offers money into an industry or for a particular service, then it encourages investment into that to soak up or extract those government funds that have been dropped into it. In the same way that a real market works, that if people are spending money or demanding a particular product or service, it encourages people to go into that industry to provide for that demand and profit to the best of their ability.
Yeah.
The difference is that one of those things is voluntary and the other one is coerced.
Yeah.
Right. So when government is putting money into a particular industry or service or product, they have to first steal it from the taxpayer before they can put it into the business. And it draws resources away from things that people actually want.
Yeah.
And if there's a real need for that particular service, then
the market would provide
the market will provide it. Maybe not as fast as you want.
Yeah.
But if there's a real demand for that service and there's profit to be made, people will do it.
Oh yeah.
And but individuals making decisions in the market are much better at determining what is fair and what they're, I don't want to say like what they're willing to pay or whatever, although that's certainly a part of it. But what is fair for a service, whereas the government, since they don't have to worry about, a budget.
Right.
I mean, they have them, but they ignore them.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a problem when they blow it.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about debt. They don't have to worry about generating revenue because
they don't have to worry about going out of business.
Yeah, they can pay just like obscene prices for a service way outside the market value for a service because any money that they need, they can just extract from you.
Yeah. It's
and like I said, it distorts the market in the sense that that services that the public, that the average consumer actually wants, some of those resources that could be used to provide for that need or desire are being diverted into this other industry that the government's sponsoring because that's easy money.
Yeah. Makes sense.
So yeah, benefits become businesses. And if you provide benefits, then you encourage businesses to build up around it. And corruption is just a part of that.
Oh, yeah. Has to be.
Because there's not enough oversight from the government. And the answer to that isn't good either, because if you want more oversight, you got to hire more government employees, which means that you need higher taxes to pay all those employees.
There will never be enough oversight to look over a government the size of ours. At any level, like state, local, federal, like you can't create enough of it. So, and there's not enough incentive to find it when they're looking for it anyway.
Yeah. Maybe one more issue and then we're out of here.
Yeah.
I had a long day.
Dude, you me both.
So the Iran protests.
Oh yeah.
And God, and it seems so absurd in the wake of this ICE shooting that Trump's threatening the Iranian government that if they kill their people, that the U.S. will step in.
Yeah, so I heard something yesterday like that he's like seriously talking about bombings And so I didn't get a clear gauge of what he intends to bomb. But
I don't know.
But it was based off what you're saying. If the Ayatollahs are seriously going to stomp down these protests,
and they mostly have actually.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, I mean it's there's still protests going on, but they've got it under control. I don't think the regime is threatened at this point.
Yeah,
which is the problem that the U.S. government has.
Yeah,
because they really saw this as an opportunity, whether the U.S. and allied intelligence agencies actually triggered the protests or just took advantage of them once they got started, encouraged them from there and maybe prodded them along and helped them in whatever way, covert way they could. There was an opportunity seen here to bring down the Ayatollah.
Yeah.
And of course, Lindsey Graham talked about it ad nauseum, everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know who listens to this guy, by the way, but
well, you have to listen to him so you know what we're up against.
Yeah. Well, you have to listen to him because he says such absurd things.
There's that too.
There's a sensationalistic aspect. I mean, I don't think that. I like to think that he doesn't have any real influence.
Yeah, he's got the ear of Mr. Trump.
Does he?
I mean, on some level,
is Trump going to do what Lindsey Graham says? I don't think
probably
so.
not.
I think maybe if anything, that Trump likes to use Lindsey Graham as the crazy nut job over there, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do something short of that. That way, what I'm doing seems reasonable compared to this.
There's probably an aspect to that, and and Trump has talked about this. That part of the reason he had Bolton in the cabinet was just so our opponents was like, well, I don't know. I mean, he's got Bolton there, and we know what Bolton likes to do, and that maybe he uses Lindsey Graham as the same type thing as to tell our opponents that option is on the table.
Yeah, could be.
But like I said, but it's Trump, so who knows?
Putin uses Medvedev.
Okay.
Medvedev's always the guy out there that's
saber rattling.
Yeah, the extreme position, the possible use of nuclear weapons. Putin never says any of that stuff, but Medvedev does.
Yeah, I think this is the same type scenario. At least I hope.
Yeah. Well, at any rate, my question is, why? Why would we get involved?
Because
what is the value to the citizens of the U.S. of the U.S. military getting involved in a civil war in Iran?
The why is pretty easy. That's because that's what Israel wants us to do. And now I'm not saying I like it, and I'm not saying that it's right, but that is the why.
Well, I mean, Israel used to be on the other side of that.
They're clearly not anymore.
Well, that's true. I don't know that. I don't know that that's it. I think, Iran's another oil-rich country like Venezuela.
There is that. I don't know. I don't have a solid answer on that, but it just that's the feel I get though.
And of course, the best answer in both cases, okay, you want this oil on the market. Don't embargo them. Trade.
Yeah, open up that's the simple solution there is to open it up. As far as with the protest, this is something that's just kind of bothered me here lately. So the idea that I get is that there were these massive protests and that they were against the Ayatollahs, so the Ayatollahs were in political danger, maybe they were going to fall or lose power or whatever. Man, we've had some massive protests in this country. Yeah. Does anybody believe that the U.S. government was
going to fall
ever in danger of falling?
Hey, man, they breached the Capitol.
We did have a insurrection. So, but no serious person looks at that. Or maybe people in other countries do. I don't know. But, nobody here in the U.S. looks at that seriously as a threat to the government.
Yeah.
In any of those instances, whether any of them we've had in the last decade, and we've had plenty,
Yeah.
So anytime I hear that as far as, with the protest in Iran, I think of that. Like, I'm like, so were they really in as much danger as it's made out to be?
Probably not.
I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, unless we start dropping bombs, which I once again ask, like, what would we bomb? I mean, we're just going to start bombing their, I don't know, I don't know where the Ayatollahs live, but.
Yeah. Well, there is this thing where Trump just doesn't believe that Iran would respond by attacking U.S. military bases around Iran anywhere. Well, he just doesn't believe it's back to the policy, the apparent Trump policy of what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. The danger with that, though, as you and I both know, is like they can touch us.
Yes.
And just because
in the Middle East,
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I should clarify. But yeah, they can touch our military assets and people and whatnot. So. And because I think the reason that Trump would think that is because, well, they haven't so far. Yeah. But the real danger is if we're seriously looking to remove that regime, that regime may make some different calculations.
Yeah, wild animal backed into a corner.
Exactly. I mean, if I'm going out, like I'm going to take a bunch of your military with me, you know, which would be devastating for Trump's presidency.
It would.
I mean,
and the Republicans in the midterms.
Yeah, exactly. Not that should be the only calculation, obviously, but I'm just.
But it is.
Well, it is for them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like that.
No.
But
I don't stand for re-election, so.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do this podcast as long as I want.
Yeah. Till we get a knock on the door one day.
Yeah. So. We'll try and keep the mics on,
which hopefully won't be anytime soon.
No, we don't have enough reach.
Yes.
Nobody cares. Yes. Actually, that makes us easier to take out, honestly.
Exactly. It won't even make the local paper.
Yeah. Gosh. All right. Well, that's my question. That's the thing to ponder right now is that why? What value to the United States would there be in getting involved?
No, that's a fair question. Especially when we're as extended as we are. I mean, we just lit this fire in Venezuela. Russia, Ukraine's still going on. Like you start going down the list, like we're active in a lot of areas, man. And then just kick another hornet's nest doesn't seem to make sense.
Yeah, it's the oh gosh. Why stupid updates. Sorry. It's like you get used to how your phone looks, iPhone looks finally, and you're like, okay, I know where to find everything, and now, it must be update time.
Yeah. Well, and then they move it. It's like you figure out a way to use this stuff, and they're like, oh, they're figuring it out. We got to change it again. We got to move the buttons around.
I feel like that with Microsoft too, so it's not just Apple.
It's all of them.
Yeah. What I was going to say is that it goes back to the Thomas Sowell quote that's about economics, but it applies to the military just as well. Yeah. That you're drawing attention to here, which is, and I'm just going to read the quote from Thomas Sowell. The first lesson of economics is scarcity. There's never enough of anything to fully satisfy all those who want it. The first lesson of politics is to disregard the first lesson of economics.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's true of the military too. Like you only have so many resources.
Yeah.
There's only so many troops, there's only so many weapons, there's only so much attention to divide between various theaters.
Yeah. And even as big and powerful as our military is, it does have its limits.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want to see it snap.
Yeah.
like not meet the limits.
They were always building towards the ability to have a two-front war. But what if you have a 6 or 8 front small wars?
Yeah.
Like, can you still manage all that? I'm not sure. I mean, you probably can in the end, but it'll break us.
Well, that's the thing. How much are you going to devalue our currency to do it?
Yeah.
Which should be the question that we are asking.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's the real question is how much is this going to cost me personally? Mm-hmm. And with the inflation we've went through over the past few years, like it can hurt us quick.
I was talking with somebody about gold recently, and and the question was, well, gold's at 40, whatever it is,
4,600.
4,600. I was going to say 45. So, all right, 4,600 an ounce now.
I think I could be wrong. Maybe 45.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure
it's close enough.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah. So do you, the question was, do I think that the value of gold's going to keep going up? Now, the first thing I did was, of course, correct that perspective.
Yeah.
And I said, no, the value of gold doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's the value of the dollar that you use to purchase the gold that keeps changing.
Yeah.
And I said, I think that gold is always a good long-term investment.
Absolutely.
Now, the value of gold may fluctuate some, but not as much as you'd think. I think I think that when we have the next downturn,
yeah,
the first thing that'll happen is actually gold will devalue.
Yeah.
Because people won't be buying it.
Yeah.
People aren't buying it, then you have to lower your price to sell it for those that are selling.
Yeah.
So the first thing that'll happen is that gold will devalue.
Well, it always does at first. And
that's the time to buy.
Yeah.
Because the reaction of the government to a economic downturn is to print a bunch of money.
Yeah. And then the value of gold
the value of the dollar will go down, and it'll take more dollars to buy gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's not wrong. I mean, it's so in the group chat with my buddies today, it came up about silver because silver hit like $95.
That's definitely overvalued.
You think? Because I mean, I would agree with that.
I think its proper range right now is probably between 30 and 40.
Wow. I hadn't seen that in a minute.
No, I know, but so silver.
But the thing
we've gotten way off topic.
No, I know, but silver is being used in a lot of stuff, and the argument that the silver bugs say is that it's always been forced low, like that the distributors and whatnot have kept it low for a reason, and that they're just losing control of the market.
I don't think. Okay, so silver has a more elastic supply.
Yeah.
Than gold does.
Yeah.
I think, and I can't remember my numbers exactly, but I think in the entire history of the world, to the best of our records, that they have never added more than like 3% of the total supply of gold in any single year.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much of it.
It's a pretty inelastic supply.
And
it's hard to extract.
And it just moves around a lot.
Yeah.
Like the same gold's moving around is
what
I was told.
It's hard to add to the total supply of gold.
Yeah, yeah.
Silver's not like that.
Yeah.
It's much easier to extract and mine silver.
Well, so it goes back to
so when the value's up, it encourages a lot more mining. So the supply can be hit pretty hard when the value's up.
Well, it's like you're saying, it's easier to manipulate that price. The people that control it.
It's not a manipulation of the price, though. It's just that the value incentivizes more mining, and it's easier to extract. So you can add more to the supply in a shorter period of time than you can with gold.
Yeah. I mean, it may be true. I can't believe how high it is right now.
I can't either. I mean, like I said, I think the legitimate value is probably between $30 and $40. I think it's on the high end of that, but still, I think it's way overvalued right now. I would say, and I am not a market analyst or anything like that, whatever the caveats are.
Yeah.
But if you have stores of silver, I think now you sell it because you can buy it back.
Yeah.
At some point in the, I think, not too distant future, for 50 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, you may be right. And that was the conversation in the group today. It was like us that hold it, should we be selling it? You know? And I mean, I'm long term on it either way, so I'm not really. I'm not really buying a lot right now because it's so high, and I don't know what it's going to do.
And that's the problem with gold too, which is why this came up. Like, it's pretty rich right now. Like, do I want to be buying gold when it's $4,500 an ounce? And the answer is, well, I mean, it's hard to buy. I mean, you can buy it in smaller and smaller segments, but in the long term, I think it's a good investment. And in the really long term, I think silver is too.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for quick gains, now's time to sell, I think, because you'll be able to buy it back for less later.
Once again, it goes back to how much do you trust the dollar?
Yeah.
Because
the value of silver will drop when we have the next economic downturn too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But the main thing there is I just think that it's overvalued.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, and this is something I've learned. Me and my brother were talking about this the other day. So like right now, everybody's talking about silver being at 150 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. This is what we're talking about is when it's going up, everybody thinks it's never going to stop going up. And then when it starts
housing prices will never come down.
Exactly. And the same thing when it's going down, when things start dropping, and this is whether it's gold, silver, houses, whatever you want to pick. When they start dropping, everybody thinks they're never going to stop falling and the floor's never coming. Yeah. So whatever direction things are heading, everybody's
thinks that it'll always go that way.
It's so weird, but it's because it's never the case. But it's just,
history's against you on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I don't know. I guess the real answer is that almost any investment's better than $1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want much of my money in dollars ever.
I mean, my last big gold purchase, people were telling me gold was high at the time.
Yeah. It was.
The spot value was like, I don't remember. It was like somewhere around $1,250, and I paid almost $1,300 an ounce.
Yeah, yeah. And at the time, that was high.
Yeah.
But who knew that it was just going to keep going up?
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, exactly.
That was at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
That was early in COVID that I made that purchase.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we could, truthfully, like, if you're paying attention, you could see where it was going. You knew that the government was printing money like crazy during COVID.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to know the factors involved.
Yeah.
Which that's true for any investment, whether it's stocks, metals, gold, housing.
Yeah.
Like you have to understand the market that you're investing in.
Exactly. That's probably the best advice anybody could give about investing is only invest in something that you understand.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's a lot easier to do and your odds are a lot better if you at least understand the area.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that when I was day trading a little bit back when. Now I just don't have enough money to make it worth the time that I had to put in. That was the unfortunate thing about day trading for me. I made a reasonable return, but with the money that I was able to invest and the amount of time that I put into watching values and researching companies and so forth, it just didn't make it worth it. Like if you're making 10 or 15%, if you got a bunch of money in it, that's great. But if you've only got like $25,000 in it, making 10 or 15% and spending an extra 20 hours a week or something, doing research and so forth, it just doesn't work out.
You should just get a part-time job.
Yeah, exactly. So I quit doing the day trading. I just picked some stuff that I decided to go long in, and that worked out way better because I didn't have the time investment, but I still got decent returns. Yeah. Not the same kind of returns that I was getting when I was like trading around, but I still got good returns, and I'm not investing the same kind of time.
Yeah.
But even when I was doing that, like the stocks that I was watching were mining stocks and things like that. It was a industry that I felt like I had a good grasp on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's the advice to end the podcast. If you're going to do investing, invest in something that you understand. And if you don't understand something, pick something and read and research and learn to understand it and then start investing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like get that knowledge first.
And try and put money aside.
Yeah. Or preferably
like you
assets aside.
Yeah, you can always spend less.
Well, yeah.
Like you can always find ways to cut. And so, the old wisdom is 10%.
Yeah.
Like if you can take 10% out of every paycheck and put it into some kind of savings, and then you can use that savings to invest in something that you understand.
Yeah.
Then you'll be set.
Yeah.
You keep doing that your whole life, you will be amazed at what you have at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good advice.
So we may as well end it there.
Yeah, we all kind of ended up on a tangent.
Yeah.
That's okay, though. I feel like it was a fun one.
Right. Try and turn that into a business.
Yeah.
All right. So everything's normal, right?
As far as I know.
So, almost all of you missed the Baldwin County Libertarian Convention.
Yeah.
Last weekend. It's a shame. It was a good group. We had fun.
Yeah. Elected officers and BS'd.
Yeah, pretty much.
But BSing with libertarians is fun. So
always. It was some people I hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah.
And that was nice too.
Yep.
And some people I see regularly and I always like to see.
Exactly. So it was a good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back next week. In the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook. You can subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, Podbean. Like and share, comment, subscribe. Yeah, all those things. You can always email me at michael@thelibertymike.com. All the interactions on the social media. And I hate these pitches, honestly.
Yeah.
But all the interactions with our stuff on social media help push the algorithm or whatever, and it puts it in front of more people. That's the point.
At the end of the day, I was going to say, what we're looking for is more eyeballs. So the likes and the comments,
ears. Really, we're looking for more ears.
Yeah. I'm talking about on social media, but yeah.
I don't want just people like looking at the memes on the Facebook page or whatever. I want people listening to the podcast.
Well,
so I want more people listening to the podcast. I keep hoping that eyeballs on the Facebook page will translate into downloads of the podcast, but
it should at some point.
I can't tell.
It hasn't happened yet, right?
I don't know. YouTube's weird. Like that one's so up and down. I can't figure out.
They're all that way. The way these, I don't understand it. Like I just don't understand how these algorithms work. Like I'm on the Facebook page. I'm just like experimenting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I can do.
I'm glad you're doing that. I hate that stuff. All right. Well, anyway, we'll be back next week when we finally get this right. And in the meantime, try to stay free.
Life's short, live free.
Ciao.
Later.